Good evening, guys. Hey, coming at you from St. Louis, out doing some Ubering. I think most of you know. I normally put in close to 12 hours a day Ubering, in addition to still putting in anywhere from 4 to 6 to sometimes 8 hours a day of work on legislation and fielding phone calls. Been feeling a lot of, matter of fact, just got off the phone with John Nichols from up in Michigan. He's been doing a great job getting the bill filed up there in Michigan. I'll be meeting tonight with Patrick Glenn, passing through St. Louis. Met Patrick back at the Million Parent March. I think it was about 4 years ago. There wasn't actually a million parents. They just actually called it that. But a lot of great relationships came out of that. Cass Jackson was there, Carlos, and I hate to mention the names, but it was just a power-packed weekend of all the leaders that we had rented a Airbnb, and I don't know how many people total we had staying in the house. I think it was somewhere around 25 or 30 that throughout the weekend had stayed at that house. It just built some great relationships. But met Patrick Glenn. He's passing through St. Louis, so we're going to be meeting later on tonight. But want to shoot a quick message out. I got a call today from one of my buddies in the Missouri legislature that they had seen some screenshots that somebody had posted online today. And they said, hey, just thought I'd let you know this is not helping your cause. So I want to shoot a quick message out. I know all of us tend to get very frustrated at our own personal cases. And I think most of you know I try to do everything I can to not post much at all about my personal case. A couple reasons for that. Number one, it can and will be used against you. Okay, if you put it on social media, I don't care who you block, your ex is going to get copies of anything that's said, and it can and will be used against you. And we have seen many, many leaders within the shared parenting community that literally lost access to their kids as a result of social media posts. And there's always a tendency for us to get riled up when we're preaching to the choir, and we forget how that could look to a judge sometimes. Judges do not like people talking about personal things. They definitely don't like any type of screenshots. So if you have any kind of communication between you and your ex and you post that publicly online, I just don't know any judge in the country that's going to look favorably on that. So I strongly encourage you to not do that. And some of you know, I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, so I won't do it. But there was a huge leader in the shared parenting community that was getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views every single week, and just a neat guy, and you haven't heard anything from him in about the last 6 months. And the reason is that his posts were actually used against him by the judge, and he actually had it work very much against him with his own custody situation with his own daughter. And it's a shame because he's a great guy and a great dad, a phenomenal dad. So Jennifer Payne, yeah, Jennifer can definitely tell you, a family law attorney up in Michigan, that, guys, I know that we all get frustrated. And trust me, I know the feeling. There's so many times that I think, oh, my gosh, if only, yes, John, you're thinking of the person. But I know myself, and I try not to. Normally, if you'll notice, whenever I talk about it very generally, and I talk about it how it's a systemic problem, but I never talk specifics about my son's mother, specifics about our case, and I always frame it from Levi's perspective. I never say my right as a dad or anything. I'll talk about Levi missing out on an opportunity, and so I always try to frame it from his perspective, which is another key too. There's tendencies a lot of times for non-custodial parents to make posts, and you make them attacking the other parent. And it comes across that you're more interested in fighting with the other parent than you are being a parent to your own child. So you always have to look and ask yourself, how would this look to someone? Now, in this particular situation today, I have a feeling the person involved is going through the same thing that so many of us go through. The challenge is a person like this legislator reading that post doesn't understand it. They just caught a snapshot, which was just a couple of email chats back and forth between the custodial and the non-custodial parent. And to be honest, if you don't know the background situation, it made our guy look bad. Matter of fact, it made him look horrible. And I don't think he even realized that. He made a post, and I realized where he's coming from, and that it was horrible what happened to him. But for people who don't realize that that was just a snapshot, it really made them look bad. And it was so bad that a legislator in the Missouri legislature called me on my cell phone immediately to say, hey, Mark, look at this post. And then he shot me screenshots of it and said, look at this. Just so you know, that isn't going to help you with any of your, any of the people you're wanting to relate to in the Missouri legislature. So just wanted to caution people, and I hope it doesn't come across like I'm talking down to anybody in any way whatsoever. I'm there, guys. I'm going through it, and more than you could ever imagine. I don't post my own personal situation, but trust me, guys, there's a few of you that know my personal situation is not any better than it's been. But I don't post it publicly. So I understand where you're coming from. And like I said, please don't come across like I'm hope it didn't come across like I'm the all-knowing. I just strongly encourage you guys, if you can, watch what you post for two reasons. Number one, it could hurt your personal case. Number two, it doesn't help us with the people we need to reach. In order to get laws changed, in order to make the true changes we need, we can't be preaching to the choir. We have to reach people who are unaware of the situation. And if the things that they read without being educated on it turn them off to where they don't want to become educated, we're not going to make any changes. So anyway, just want to shoot that out there. Take it for what it's worth. Just ignore me and think I'm an idiot if you want. Some of you probably already do. I'm okay with that. Anyways, hope everybody's had a great weekend this past weekend. I did get a little bit of a chance to see Levi, and now I won't be seeing him this week, so I'll be Ubering probably, like I said, 12, 14 hours a day, trying to save up money so that when people do need me to go to states to help them out, I'll have the time to be able to help them this year. So appreciate every single one of you. If anybody can donate to AFESP, we could definitely use it, guys. There are some serious things going on, especially at the federal level. So if you can donate, the easiest way is PayPal. And the PayPal email address is info, I-N-F-O, @afesp.com, or you can go to the afesp.com website. Once again, donations. Jason, good to see you, buddy. I owe you a phone call. I did hear from one of your contacts today. But donations are not tax deductible because what we do is considered political activity, but that's what you want. You want us doing political activity. If we were a podcaster, we couldn't do what we do. If we were a 501c3, we couldn't do what we do. The reason we can meet with legislators, the reason we can deal with the things that we're doing is we're a 501c4. If we were a podcaster, we'd go to jail for doing what we're doing because you're not allowed to do that. If we were a 501c3, you can't do that, even though you can get tax deductions for donating to a 501c3. So you won't get a tax break, but I promise you this, you're going to make some changes. And I see John Nichols on here, and the people that work in the states that I've been to, I don't mean to brag or toot my own horn or anything, but just very sincerely. When I go to a state, I work my butt off for that state because I've got a 35-year background of knowing how to get legislation passed. And I don't go in just, let's just show up at a state and see what happens. No, there's a very strategic plan, very, very strategic before we go into a state of exactly what we want to accomplish, and we follow a pattern along the way, and that's why we're able to make the changes. And some of you saw the changes this year in Arkansas, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Not that we made the changes ourselves, but we partnered with people in those states that made those changes. So if you can help out financially, we would really appreciate it. Once again, easiest way is PayPal to info@afesp.com, or you can go to the afesp.com website. So anyways, hope that tip helps for tonight, and I will talk to y'all later.